the face that Devonta even made when she said that, guys, I was like, I know he was thinking that he definitely thought that she was a white girl. And I think that Devonta's kind of struggling with this a little bit. And even the way Devonta said that he, has never really dated outside of his race before, I was confused because even the way he said it, it was almost like, it was weird to me because I'm like, he was almost saying it like he isn't also like a man of color. Let me know if you guys picked up on that. I was like, Devonta, have you seen yourself? Like you're also a man of color, right? Strange. Very, very strange. Okay. Hi guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. So today I will be reviewing Love is Blind episode 5. So this episode continues back with Kevin in the pods, and he's basically realizing that Tyler has left the experiment. Am I surprised? No. He basically says that he doesn't blame her for leaving because he's clearly put her through so much. She's realizing this is not my guy and she just kind of exited. I am very happy that Tyler left. I think that she probably should have left the first time. I get that she wanted to stick it through. The producers were saying, just give this a chance. But I think that her leaving made a lot of sense because he just was not giving her that reassurance that she needed. Clearly, she was crashing out, acting crazy. So I think that this made a lot of sense. Okay, then we go back to see Devonta and Brittany, and they basically have their reveal. They have like a pretty long hug and kiss. I thought that it went pretty well. He ends up proposing again and says that she's beautiful. Brittany did say that he was on the shorter side, which isn't something that she expected. And she basically says that he's also not someone that she would have gone for in the outside world. So he didn't necessarily look like someone that would be her type. She says that he's not someone she would have gone for like in a bar or something. But she says that he is handsome and that he has beautiful eyes. We then see Devonta saying that, he's never dated a woman of color before. And he was kind of surprised, it seems, that, Brittany was not white. I think that hearing Brittany's voice, he probably just assumed that she was white. So I think he was kind of stunned by what he saw. And all I can say is I thought that Devonta would be pretty happy to see Brittany. I wasn't sure how Brittany would feel about Devonta, though, and the way that he looked. I wasn't sure if he would be her type, but I was surprised to hear that Devonta had never dated a woman of color. I mean, I guess that's fine, but I was like, it made me wonder, like, is he okay knowing that, like, Brittany is a woman of color? Like, we'll see how that unfolds. I was kind of surprised by Devonta saying that. I didn't expect that at all. Okay, so then we go back to the pods, and we see Mike and Emma. We see that he got her roses and like a cupcake, and Emma basically reads something to him that she wrote that was really heartfelt. As she's reading it, she's getting very emotional. She says that she's basically in love with him. Mike says that he feels safe with her and secure. Mike ends up proposing to Emma, and Emma says yes. So this is another proposal that we have. I am excited for this couple. I have to say that, like, the conversations they've had regarding children, I still have my reservations because I don't necessarily love the idea of someone getting engaged to someone where they're not on the same page about children. So we shall see what happens with that. All right, we go back to the men's quarters, and Kevin is basically telling the guys he told Tyler he was going to choose her yesterday. So you can see that, like, in Kevin's mind, he's like really surprised that Tyler basically left, it seems. He says that he had the same exact feelings for Kia. And he says he thinks that it's a terrible thing that Tyler left because now it looks like Kia is his second option. And we see some of the guys kind of consoling him and saying, it's okay, man. And one of the guys mentioned something like, you're just in love with two different women. And in my head, I'm like, if only they could see the conversations and the way that Kevin acts in the pods with these women, he would know that Kevin is not in love with two women. Like, he's an actual joke. And the fact that Tyler literally left the experiment just goes to show you how much of a joke Kevin really is. Unfortunately, the men in the men's quarters don't know how much of a joke Kevin is, right? They just think that he's torn between two amazing women. That's not the case. Like, yeah, at this point, I really want Kevin off my screen. But obviously, he still has this connection with Kia, so we have to see where that goes. All right, so we then see Kevin and Kia talking, and he basically says that she's a flower that has bloomed. He says that she's not really demanded anything of him and that he really likes her peaceful spirit. Obviously, he's comparing her to Tyler, who was, Tyler was demanding an answer from him. Kia, it has like a different energy about her that he's admiring. He basically tells her that he made a decision about Tyler out of Tyler, like basically pressuring him, and that it was a dumb thing to do, and that almost like to sound like he regretted what happened with Tyler. And basically he says to Kia that you're no one's second option. Kia literally stops him and she's like, oh, hold on now. She says for clarity, she never felt like a second option. I'm like, okay, Kia, you better tell Kevin. You tell him how you feel. And she basically says that she was put here for a purpose and potentially to find love. She says some really nice things about Kevin and then basically says, however, she's not falling in love with Kevin. Guys, when I tell you I was stunned, she basically says he's not the one for her and he's not ready for a relationship of this magnitude. She says he's not ready to be anyone's husband. She even says that one could say he shouldn't even have come on Love is Blind. Oh my God, I was so surprised, but Kia is 100% right. I guess I don't really know why she took so long to get to this point to say these things to him. I feel like I'm surprised. I thought that, Kevin looked like he's literally down on one knee as Kia is saying these things to him because he was ready to propose to Kia. And I know that Kevin is sitting there like he looks stunned, like he can't believe that Kia is basically just done with him, Kevin lets out this awkward laugh. He doesn't really even refute anything that she says because Kevin knows that Kia is right. Like, he's an actual joke. He's not ready for anything serious. He's tried to play with two different women. Kia has caught him in his game. Tyler already left. It's over, And Kevin was kind of kneeling down on one knee, and eventually he gets back up because he's realizing, like, it's over. There's no proposal that's going to come out of this. Kia is done with his ass. Thank God, right? And all I can say is I'm really proud of Kia for leaving this alone. And we see like Kevin say that he says he felt ready, right? Even though Kia was saying he wasn't. In my head, I'm like, Kevin, you weren't ready. Like, just stop. Please stop talking. So, he basically says that Tyler deserved more. Kia basically says that Tyler also deserved more. She says she will always stand on business and choose herself every single time. And basically she wishes Kevin well. And I was just so happy. They started playing some kind of, I don't know if they were playing Where's My Husband when Kia was saying all these things, but long story short is I'm very proud of Kia. And I know that I saw online, because I'm on TikTok, I saw some girls saying that Kia is also problematic because she's somewhat like manipulative. And, they were saying that she also didn't want Kevin, but then she didn't want Tyler to have Kevin. And even though that can be true, I still feel like I think I'm still proud of Kia because a lot of women go on Love is Blind and they just want to be picked. They don't really care who the man is and they don't care what red flags or flaws that they see or hear through the pods. And I think that Kia was like, yeah, I want to be married. I want to be engaged, but I want it to be with the right person, right? It's like, I'm not desperate for an engagement, with someone that clearly has issues and doesn't seem ready. So I'm proud of Kia being able to acknowledge that and just say that, it's okay if I just leave here with no one. I'm okay with that. So no matter what, I'm still proud of Kia for making this decision because let's keep it real. Like, Kevin was her only option, right? And a lot of people choose the only option they feel like they have on Love is Blind, even though they don't necessarily have strong feelings towards that person. That happens all the time. So for that, I was like really, really proud of Kia. I was like, you tell him. And everything she said was spot on. Like, Kevin needs to do some work. He doesn't need to be on the show. He doesn't need to be looking for a partner. So we see Kia go back to the women's quarters and basically tell all the girls, she was like, I chose myself, bitches. And they're all laughing and embracing her and screaming. And you can tell that even the women are like glad that Kia just, ended this. So very proud of Kia. I think she made the right decision, and I'm glad that she was able to discern that this was not her guy. Very, very proud. So we see Kevin going back to the men's quarters. He looks really depressed, and, in my mind, I'm like, as he should, like, go home. Thank God Kevin is off my screen, guys. You don't understand how much I was like, thank God I don't have to see this man anymore. We then see like Kia basically talking like to the cameras and basically saying that she was pretty confused up until yesterday because there was a part of her that wanted to, fix him in a way and like give Kevin a chance. She thinks that a lot of women have this sentiment where they feel like, okay, I do see issues with this guy, but I want to give it a chance. And she basically says that Kevin has some work to do and acknowledges that, she can't do that work for Kevin, right? This is work that he has to do on his own. And she was like, I'm going to choose myself, and the best decision for me, which was for her to just leave and be single. So great decision. Stand by it. Okay. We then go back to Mike and Emma, and we basically see their reveal. Before the reveal, you see Emma say that she's pretty nervous about not being Mike's type, race-wise, body type-wise. She's not sure like how, like what he's going to feel for her. Okay, and then we see Mike basically saying that his biggest concern is that, this whole thing with kids, and maybe Emma getting to a point where she definitely doesn't want kids, which, once again, Mike is bringing this up because if Emma does decide she doesn't want kids, it will be a problem for Mike. And as I've said before, I don't really understand why these two are even giving this a chance, but whatever, we're here. So they do the reveal, and, Mike is saying that Emma looks beautiful and that he loves the color of the dress she's wearing. I also love the color of the dress she's wearing. I thought that was such a nice color on her skin tone. She looked great. They hugged and kissed. He proposed. Things seemed really natural and comfortable. They both seemed happy with what they look like. So I have high hopes for this couple. I mean, outside of the whole kids issue, we shall see what happens. She basically says that the image she had of him was wrong, but that she thinks that Mike is still handsome. And, Mike is saying that she's beautiful. He says that he barely even noticed her scars. And instead he was like, she has a beautiful smile. And that was like something that really stood out to him. We see Mike also say he has never really dated outside of his race before, but that this is something that he's excited to do, so that, her being Asian to him is not really an issue. Like, it doesn't seem like that. They have a pretty long kiss before basically saying goodbye. I thought that this reveal went pretty well for the most part. Okay, so we are done with the pods, guys. And I'm like, yes, so it's time for the honeymoons. We basically see that they are going to Cabo, Mexico, and something kind of comes on the screen and it says that 6 couples went to Cabo, 1 couple went to Malibu. And we find out that the couple that went to Malibu, California was Christine and Vic. So I don't really know what happened there. But I actually did see online that Chris Colleen came out and said that they didn't have a budget for all the couples to go to Cabo. And I'm actually going to include a link to this article where it explained what happened. I'm confused, guys. Like, we're on season 10 of Love is Blind. Like, I know a lot of people watch this show. So what do you mean you didn't have the budget for every single couple to go to Cabo? Can y'all explain what Chris Colleen meant by that? Because I'm so confused. Like, it's giving cheap. Like, what do you mean you didn't have the budget? What else were you spending your budget on? So I thought this was strange. And in this article that I'm going to link below, it seems like they tried to make it sound like Christine and Vic kind of wanted to like maybe do their own thing. Like they didn't mind the idea of doing their own thing. Like they kind of, I don't know how they came to the decision that Christine and Vic would be the couple to go to California. I don't know. There's something about that I didn't like. And even when Christine and Vic first had their proposal, like before, they showed these flashbacks of like all the conversations they had. And I thought that was also weird. Like almost a sense of like, we don't have time to actually show all the pod conversations. So we're just going to show a flashback of all the conversations Christine and Vic have had. I thought it was a little bit of like almost like a disregard to their relationship. And now we find out that they're the one couple that didn't go to Mexico with all the other couples. And instead they're going to Malibu, California. It's strange. Let me know what you guys think, but I didn't really like that. I really didn't. Okay, so we see Brittany and Devonta. Brittany is saying she basically sounds like a white girl. And the face that Devonta even made when she said that, guys, I was like, I know he was thinking that she, you know, he definitely thought that she was a white girl. And I think that Devonta is kind of struggling with this a little bit, but I don't really know what's going on with Devonta. Brittany basically says that her dad is black and I think her mom is like Colombian. And even the way Devonta said that he, you know, has never really dated outside of his race before, I was confused because even the way he said it, it was almost like, it was weird to me because I'm like, he was almost saying it like he isn't also like a man of color. Let me know if you guys picked up on that. I was like, Devonta, have you seen yourself? Like you're also a man of color, right? Strange. Very, very strange. Okay, let me know what you guys thought about that. But I was like, what do you mean? Like there's something about the way he's acting where it's almost like he doesn't even see himself as like a man of color. Let me know if you guys think I'm wrong about that. But there's something off about Devonta. I don't know. I feel like I want to know about his family background because something is not right, quite right there. Yeah, and Brittany is she's beautiful. So, I mean, I'm not saying Devonta doesn't think that. We shall see, but she's breathtaking. She's beautiful. So I don't know. And if anything, he needs to be lucky that he got paired with Brittany. Grateful. Looking the way he looks. Let me not be mean, but yeah. All right. Then we see Chris and Jessica. Jessica's basically taking off her heels. They're in the kitchen and she's like, okay, this is how tall I really am. You can see that she's pretty petite. And, you know, Chris is saying that she's basically perfect in his eyes. I know Chris is just over the moon that like she's not taller than him, you know, in any way. And Chris also just seems like really, really like taken by Jessica, like he's swooning over her. And he basically says that she's someone that he would go for on the outside world. So he's like, you know, in his mind, Jessica is very much his type. Jessica jokes and says that she likes to like eat a lot and she's not really into the whole working out thing. And she basically insinuates that she thought that, you know, Chris would have wanted to been with someone that does like to be more active, which I find pretty interesting. And yeah, I mean, I don't know how much that matters because this is something that I've always wondered, like when people do have very active lifestyles, if their partner being the complete opposite can become an issue down the line. I don't necessarily think that it can, but depending on how much time someone does like to spend being active, I will be honest, it is nice to have a partner that will be active with you, right? I do think that that's nice because I feel like that's another way of you kind of spending quality time. But maybe it doesn't really matter when it comes to like the success of a long-term relationship. Let me know what you guys think about that because that's something I've always wondered. We see Brittany and Devonta is basically saying he didn't really care what race Brittany would be. But basically he says that he was expecting her to be white. Yeah, which is what we figured about Devonta, right? And even the way he's saying this, I almost get the sense that he's disappointed that she's not. So we'll see what happens there, guys. But I don't know what's going on with Devonta. I really don't. But I feel like this is something that is bothering him because, yeah, I do. So we see that they're kissing in the pool and they're talking. They seem to be getting along well. We go back to Amber and Jordan, and Jordan says that he likes being around her. You know, he's complimenting her, and they're just basically chilling on the couch having a good time. Ashley and Alex are talking. They're talking about like what they like to read. Ashley's basically looking at him, and once again Alex is calling Ashley dangerous, talking about her eyes, saying don't look at me that way. Don't know what is going on between these two. He tells her to stop throwing her eyes around like that, like her eyes are some kind of weapon, and he's like can't control himself. Like, Alex is really doing a lot, guys. Like, I'm like, calm down, sir. We see Ashley say that she thinks he's fucking hot. They're kissing. Yeah, so we know what's going down with them tonight. But you can tell that they're just like very, very much attracted to each other. We go back to Alex and Ashley's asking him what he's thinking about. He's once again talking about how her eyes are dangerous. Like, guys, I'm so tired of this. Like, what is happening here? Ashley's basically saying that she's excited for sex. She says she knows what she wants and what she likes. And she says she's like sexually flustered when it comes to Alex. We see that they're kissing in bed. Yeah, and in my mind, I'm like, let's cut the cameras before these two get too busy, because yeah, they're like all over each other, which I'm like, this isn't a bad thing, right? Because you want to be attracted to your partner. But once again, I think the biggest thing about Alex and Ashley is I do wonder if there's any more depth outside of that. I feel like I'm struggling to really see like that bond between them, like that real emotional, deep connection between them. So we'll see. Then we go back to Amber and Jordan. Amber says she's okay having sex or waiting. She says most men will put it in a chicken sandwich, which I thought was really funny. So, you know, in her mind, she's like, well, she's just kind of gonna go with the flow and see what happens. So we go back to Devonta and Brittany. She says the next time she does have sex with someone, she wants it to be a forever thing. So it seems like Brittany is more on the sense of trying to wait, because she really wants to make sure that the connection that they have is gonna, you know, withstand the long haul, which I think is very smart. Yep, and that is how that episode ends. So that's episode 5, and I will be reviewing the next episode. Thank you guys so much for watching. Please like, comment, and subscribe at the bell, and I'll talk to you next time. Bye.